Happy Halloween from your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Today is Tuesday, October 31st, 2017, and let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. I've always believed that if you remain true to your passions, you'll never work a day in your life. And apparently, second-year fitness sensation Derina Wilson shares those same thoughts. After wrapping up a breakout 2017 campaign that saw her soar all the way to an 8th place finish at the Miss Olympia competition, the former NPC Team Universe champ has been crushing it in the gym lately. Over the weekend, video surfaced of Wilson cranking out a little bit of off-season ring action, adding a few more weapons to what's already one of the most complete repertoires in the business. Despite the fact that she had a solid crusade through the 2017 season, I don't think anyone predicted the jump we saw Wilson make coming into this year. But now that she'll be the one coming in with a target on her back, it'll be interesting to see how she responds to the pressure. On paper, the lineup at this year's Ferrigno Legacy Classic is already stacked from top to bottom, and that's without even factoring Victor Rea into the equation. A few weeks ago, the 2016 North American Over 40 Masters champ announced that he was planning to bring his talents to the pro arena for the first time, where he and coach Manuel Charo Lamelli are looking to put Mexican bodybuilding center stage. Rea is coming into the Ferrigno as the first Mexican athlete in history to win the overall at the Mr. Mexico, lock up his IFBB pro card, and hit a pro stage all in the same calendar year. And in the past, we've seen some of the biggest names in the sport filter their way through the North Americans, and members of the Rea camp think he might be cut from the same cloth. So if he can come in and deliver a noteworthy finish, it could very well be the catalyst that jumpstarts the Latin American bodybuilding scene, which could have some huge long-term implications. I've heard people say that bosses don't ask permission, they ask forgiveness. And I'm pretty sure that perennial Olympia threat Kiera Newman hasn't been in the business of asking anyone's permission for a very long time. Over the last few weeks, one of the biggest bosses in the women's physique division has been getting in the gym and training like an absolute demon, stirring up the rumors that she might be tossing around the idea of making a run at the Arnold Classic next March. Even though she put together her third straight top 4 Olympia finish, Kiera still looks like she's training with that same level of edgy intensity that turned her into one of the most electric athletes in the division. And when you take into account the way things panned out at last year's Arnold, you can't help but think that it would add fuel to a fire for a vicious Kiera Newman assault that could very easily end with her as the last woman standing. With all the craziness that's going on in the 212 division this year, it's easy to forget that one of the division's most dangerous athletes has been MIA most of the season. I'm talking about 2016 Arnold Classic champ, Hide Yamagishi. Early Saturday morning, new video surfaced of Hide hammering out a back session down in New Zealand, where he spent the weekend meeting and greeting his fans down at the New Zealand Fit Expo. Even though it feels like it was 100 years ago now, the 2016 Arnold Classic victory really was a career-defining moment for a guy who's been one of the class acts in the sport for over a decade. And if he decides to go all in again next season, adding an athlete like Hide Yamagishi to the dogfight going on at the top of the division in the 212 class will only make everything that much more interesting. Sometimes it feels like new talent just pops up out of the woodwork in the men's physique division, especially when these guys come out of nowhere to win a show like the Kuwait Pro, like we saw with Abdullah Al Sayyed. After officially putting himself on the map with the win and locking up his first Olympia qualification, the Oxygen Gym product didn't waste any time jumping right back into action. Late last Friday night, members of the Al Sayyed team released video from a handful of recent training sessions, giving us a sneak peek at what he's doing to prepare for his big late season run in 2018. Given the transformation we've seen from the Nathan Diashes and the Brandon Currys of the world over the last year and change, Al Sayyed is a guy you might want to keep an eye on over the next 12 months or so. Because if he starts getting doused in some of that Oxygen Gym magic, he could end up being someone who creates a lot of havoc for the top dogs of the division. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and have a happy and safe Halloween.